Today we're going to take these few items and make a beautiful Dollar Tree wreath. So we're going to jump right in and get started. Welcome back to Kay's Creative Home. So what I'm doing with this wreath is making a Easter egg. And I thought I'd do it with some blinged out ribbon. And I'm going to first take this silver ribbon, or I guess looks like a rhinestone ribbon. And I'm going to work my way across this football frame, weaving in and out of the crossbars until I get to the other side. And on this first side, I'm going to glue the ends down so that it's secure. And then I'm going to do the same on the other side. Now today we're going to be using 2 rolls of this pink ribbon, 2 rolls of the diamond look ribbon, the reframe, and I did add in some ribbon from Sam's Club because I couldn't find any Dollar Tree ribbon that I liked to make my bow. Well, not that I didn't like it, I didn't work with what I was doing for my bow. And each of these ribbons here are 2 yards in length. So now I'm just taking my second strand and I'm going across, and I started in the center of my little football frame. And what I'm going to do is put 3 rows in this section that I'm working in now. So we're gluing the second row down just on one side. We're not going to do the other side yet because I want the ribbon to stay kind of loose, because I'm going across the frame and then I'm going to go lengthwise. And if it's too tight, I won't be able to weave in and out. So if you do a basket weave pattern, you just go over, under, over, under, over, under each of the crossbars. And so if your first one starts over, under, your second one goes under, over, so that they're the opposite. So this time I'm doing my third. You can see I'm putting that third ribbon in here. And we're still in that one section. And I'm going to glue that on the side. And then we're going to be ready to get to the next section. So I'm about to start section number 2. Again, just going the opposite of the previous row with going over, under, over, under. And you see I had to stop a minute and think there. Which way do I go next? So I got my first strand over here, glued that down, and by the magic of video, I'm on my third strand. So I've got that all tacked in on one side. And now I think I'm going to reach over here and secure these to the other side so that they're just held in place, but I'm not going to glue them yet because I don't want them super tight. So I hope you enjoyed this video. I was trying to think of something different to do for Easter. I wanted to start doing some wreaths that had a little more bling and glitter to them. So this is my first attempt. I was thinking though, this might, even though this is plastic and it would do okay in the weather, I'm not sure, depending on where your door is, you may not want to put it on the outside simply because of the sun reflecting against it. You don't want to blind any drivers out there on the streets. But it's going to be pretty if the sun hits it, or you could use it as an indoor wreath. So this section that we did here, these 2 middle sections, took up that first roll of bling ribbon. And I had a little bit left over, just a few inches, but it wasn't enough to go across. So now that I'm down on the outer ends here, it took me a minute to try to figure out how do I get this ribbon to go across smoothly, because the shape, is starting to come to a point, and it was really difficult to kind of figure this out. But I finally decided to put it in there and secure it to a crossbar instead of the sides. And so you'll get to see that in a minute, because I'm still just trying to think this through here. So I'm going to secure one side and flip it over. And I don't know if you can see yet that crossbar. I'm gluing it down. But in a minute I'm going to stop and show that to you. So I've got it down on one side, and then I'm going to clip it on the other side once I cut the length I need. And then I'll get to share with you how I actually attach this to the ends. But before we do that, I'm going to go ahead and put in the other two. I'm going to put 2 more rows in this section. One across the very bottom there where I'm kind of laying it out now to see how much ribbon I need. And then I'm going to do a little bit in that top section where you kind of still see an opening. It's the same section, I'm sorry, but at the top end of it. So I'm going to put on this bottom piece, get it secured, and then I'm going to show you that area that's left open. We're going to just do a shortened piece because you can't really go all the way across. It's not enough space. But at any rate, I hope you are enjoying the video. And if you like what's happening here, I hope you will give me a thumbs up and share it with others. And please don't forget to hit that button and ring the bell so you can be notified as I release more videos. So here's this last little piece that I said I'm going to weave it under, and you can see there if you're looking closely, I'm just attaching it to the very next crossbar, and it's the same pattern, the weave pattern, as the one before it, but I kind of had to do that because I only have a very short space to work with. So now that we've got all these cross ribbon done, we're going to go the lengthwise now. And I cut the ribbon at the length I thought I would need. I ended up with it being a little long and having to trim some more off at the end, but that's fine. Better a little longer than being cut too short. So for each section going lengthwise, I'm only going to put 1 strand of ribbon through. When I went across, you can see I have 3 in each section. But going the lengthwise, I'm only going to use 1 in each section. Now, because the edge of this football comes to a point, I'm going to have to trim away some of this ribbon. So I kind of go up the length of the ribbon. I cut off 1 strand on one side, and then on the other side of the ribbon, I cut off 2 strands of the rhinestones. And you'll see that a little clearer as I actually finish. I'm going to show you that it's starting with 5 strands wide, and when I glue it down on the end, it's only going to be like 3 strands wide, I think. So you can see a little bit here how I'm actually coming up the strand, and like I said, I did that on both sides so that by the time I'm ready to glue it down, it's not a huge bulk of ribbon all glued into one spot and making it real bumpy. So here you can see the 3 strands I have, and I'm going to go ahead and take my time, put some glue here, try to get this pressed down and secure without burning myself, and I'll be right back. So I'm working on weaving my next lengthwise piece of the pink ribbon through, and I'm going to do the same thing again. When I get down to that end, I'm going to clip the ends a little bit so that it's not quite as wide and I won't have so much to tuck around the edge. And again, even with the lengthwise ribbon, I'm only gluing down one side, and you can see the other side is still being held down by clips. So while I'm gluing on one end of this egg-shaped wreath, I wanted you to be able to see how I've wove through the pink ribbon in each little section. I've done the entire football now, and once I get this side down that I'm working on, I'm going to glue in all of my other edges and show you what it looks like. So here's my football. I've got everything glued down. Everything's nice and secure, and it's tight, and I did find myself, I think one place where I didn't weave the right direction, but I was like, oh well, I'm not taking it apart. So you can see that when you trim it down on the ends like I did, you don't end up with a bulky mess underneath. It's really nice and flat. And you'll be able to hang it if you want to use this end to put a hook right onto the end there to hang your wreath. Or you can do like I'm getting ready to do and make a nice bow and hang it from the top of my bow. So let's move on. So my bow is pretty, but of course it's not blingy, so I don't want to say it's plain because it's got a nice print on it, but it's not blingy. So I decided to add some glue to the edge of my ribbon and slowly put some rhinestone on it. So I took the rhinestone I had left and cut it into a single strand of rhinestones, and that's what I'm using. I'm going to go down both sides of my ribbon with what I have left, and then I'm going to make a cute little bow. Be right back. So my ribbon is all blinged out, and now I'm going to make my bow. I'm going to start with a 6-inch tail, and I was about to make my little 6-inch loop and decided, let me see how wide this football is. And after kind of holding it there and seeing the bow against it, I decided to go with a 5-inch loop because I just thought it was more appropriate in size. It would look a little better. It wouldn't be too big compared to the width of the football. Or my egg. I'm sorry, this is an Easter egg. I forgot. So anyway, I did my loops. This is a 4-loop bow, and then I'm going to still have another 6-inch tail because that's about all I have left for the ribbon with the bling on it. And then I'm going to secure the center with a zip tie, and instead of using a pipe cleaner to attach the bow directly to the egg, I've been calling the football frame. Now I can't stop calling it a football. Instead of attaching it directly to that, I'm going to use my last strand of my rhinestone to be my hanger. I guess that's what I would call it. And so I'm going to tighten up my bow a little bit, not too tight. And then I'm going to slide that rhinestone right through the back. Bring it to the middle there. And then I'm going to go ahead and get it nice and even. And then I'm going to go ahead and tighten up my bow. So I'm shaping my bow a little bit, and then I'm going to trim off that zip tie there. And then I'll be ready to attach these my little rhinestone cords to my Easter egg. Oh, I forgot that before I attached it to the egg, I realized I had a thin little piece of, short little piece I should say, of ribbon left that still had the rhinestones on the edges. So I decided to cut that and use it as my center for the bow. Might as well use those little cute little rhinestones everywhere I can in my bow. So I wrapped it around there, got to the back, and glued those two ends together. So with my bow complete, I now have to decide how I'm going to attach it to the Easter egg. So I decided to use these little crossbars. The first ones you get to on the egg. So I'm going to lay out my strand here, my rhinestones, and I realized it was much longer than I needed it to be. So I'm going to cut it down a little bit, trying to make it as even as possible so that this wreath will hang correctly and evenly. And so now that I've got it trimmed to the same length, I'm going to attach that to that little crossbar, and then I'm going to glue it to itself. You'll see me do that. I'm going to go in closer in a minute once I kind of figure out what length it needs to be on both sides. So while I'm finishing that up, again, I just want to thank you so much for spending this time with me. You all have been wonderful. My channel is coming back to life. I told you I've been away for a while dealing with illness, my mom's illness, and some craziness and things going on in the house, but we're coming back together and I'm getting my videos out, and I thank you all for tuning in and helping me to get my channel back on track. So I'm going to glue this last part in, and then I'm going to bring it right where I want it to be, and then try to glue the two strands, well, the end of the strand back into the full length of the strand. If you can see what I just did there, tried to do a close-up so you could see what I was doing. So I only did a few of the little studs at a time, so I've got to, you can see, fold that back and finish it all the way up to the end there. So I'm again lightly adding some glue. Don't want that to come straight through and hit my fingers, boy. That glue will burn you. So I'm kind of mashing it together here, tapping them together as well as I can without burning myself. So don't forget to stay tuned until the end so you can see the final picture. And I like to share pictures of how it would look on the door. And here's my wreath. Let me hang it up for you so you can see it. And before I go, thank you for spending this time with me. And I'll be talking with you again real soon.